Hello everybody, my name is Paul Costello and I'm the Executive Director of Montgomery County's original AmeriCorps program called Project Change. And we're here now with this video to introduce our innovative social emotional learning instrument, which we call MyScore, and to try and give you just briefly our thinking as to why we designed this and how we see ourselves using it. As educators, we're always asking ourselves, how do we measure a student's success? And we have tests and we have exams, and we're always measuring the student's performance. But what if there's an equally important question that sometimes we don't get a chance to ask, and that is, how does the student measure their own level of success? Success at school is literacy and numeracy and all those amazing things as skills a student to be a learner. But to be a learner of life, we've identified what we call the 5 C's of learning, which we've built into this instrument. The 5 C's are, is the student confident? Is the student curious? Is the student collaborative? Is the student courageous? And is the student career and future focused? Because even if the student is scoring high or low on their subjects at school, we believe that scoring high or low on these 5 C's is a predicate of whether they're going to be successful life learners, which in the end is what schools are about. So we've designed this instrument to somehow engage a conversation with our students to self-assess themselves around those 5 C's. Because the operating assumption is this, that performance is built upon the platform of perception. We can see how the student is performing, but we rarely get insights into how the student thinks of themselves as a learner and do they see themselves as being successful or not, in contradiction maybe sometimes to the way we see them. So this is the rationale. If a student is living inside a story that I'm no good, no one cares for me, I'm a loser, people are bullying me, I can't get on with others and I have no future. If that's the internal monologue going on inside a student's head, then you and I both know that's an enormous internal barrier for that student to be open to what's on offer in a classroom or outside the classroom. So the challenge for us is, how do we get that student out of that old story that's just a noise, a distraction, into a new story of possibility? Well, this is what we do with the MyScore. It's a very simple thing. It doesn't take long to apply. On this side, we ask the students, when we give out this instrument, put their name, the date, the class, and of course, very importantly, their student identity, so we can track them. And then, through a simple 5-minute process of step by step, we will ask them to circle on this scale, a 1 or 2 or a 3. The 4 and 5 right now we leave. They're off the chart kind of measures which we apply later for the student. But right now, 1 is a student sees a low self-evaluation in that particular C, and 3 is a very high self-evaluation in that C, and 2 is an okay. Put 2 if you're okay. How confident are you? How curious are you about, how excited are you about learning? How well do you get along with others? What do you do when things get hard? And how hopeful are you about the future? So once a student has circled that, what we will do is collect that as a block from a class and be able to put that into sort of a spreadsheet, into SurveyMonkey, and be able to feed back to the teacher, feed back to the school, feed back to the county. This is what this student thinks about the experience he or she is having here at school. And I think that way it's a starting point for us, because we can identify those students who are self-identifying as lacking in those essential life skills that we enumerate as the 5 C's. And then we can start to plan a very intentional intervention using a second card that we have created and a third card that we have created. And we will teach you more about that in later videos. But we invite you, and we are excited about our instrument, we invite you to join with us in engaging in this conversation that most of the time we don't have time for. but we think it's a very, very timely conversation and that our students are dying to be asked to engage in it. So welcome, and let's look ahead to the exciting use of our instrument, the MySchool.